Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. Sort of, kind of. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like this video. Hit the like button if you have any questions or comments. Please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Today, we are talking about a subject that is related to Dungeons and Dragons, primarily Critical Role, and we are going to be reacting to a video from the modern day Plato philosopher J Scott Garibay and his take on what needs to happen for the first episode, starting from the first episode of Season 4 of Critical Role, and that is that Orion Acaba must come back to Critical. For those of you who don't know who J Scott Garibay is, he's pretty easy to find on YouTube. Just go into the little search bar, type J Scott Garibay. You will find his channel very easily. His channel has approximately 3,340 subscribers, and he puts out several videos a day of his philosophy from the inside of his car as he drives around and tells us what's on his mind. He's got a wide array of subjects. Most of the subjects are surrounded by modern day Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role-playing games. He does talk about some political things. If that is not your thing, so be it. But he does have a number of videos, especially recently, about Critical Role and particularly about Orion Acaba coming back to Critical Role to sit at the table for Episode 1, Season. All right, so let's get into the video. Scott is in his typical environment where he's driving around, and he is going to start giving us his first premise. There are going to be a couple of times where it's going to sound like Scott's running something over. We'll point them out a couple of times, but not every time. And he's going to give us his philosophy on why Orion Acaba should come back. So let's take a look.
Hi friends, it's your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about Orion Acaba returning to Critical Role for Season 4, Episode 1, and why it's absolutely imperative Matthew Mercer extends that invitation. All right, so
I'm going to stop the video every once in a while just so we can kind of give our opinion. Scott's given us his intro to the subject of the video. He pretty much starts out all of his videos this way, where he gives us the subject of the video and the premise, and then he begins by giving us his very important, very critical philosophy.
So today what I want to talk about is this idea that Orion Acaba should return, can't return to the table because he's not a good person. Like,
this is literally over 100 plus videos from Scott about Orion Acaba coming back to Critical Role. So he's talked about this many times. I encourage you to go to his channel. You can go to his little search engine on his channel and you'll find all of these videos about Orion Acaba coming back to Critical Role.
All the other Critical Role people, right? So it's such ridiculousness, right? They're like, oh, Scott, you can't bring Orion Acaba back. He was a toxic player. A lot of bad behavior, a lot of cheating, a lot of lying.
So for a lot of you that are not familiar with Orion Acaba, he was one of the original cast members of Critical Role. He made it all the way to, I believe, episode 27 or 28, and then he never came back. He did have some problems. He had some drug problems. I know he did have a cancer issue at the time as well. Rumors on the internet, as they are, had accused Orion Acaba of being a toxic player, being a cheater, that he had, cheated on his dice rolls, things like that. He was very forward during the games. He would interrupt. He was eating a lot during the games. and then he just disappeared and he never came back. He was in the initial credits of the game, and he was playing a Dragonborn sorcerer. They were all about 9th level at the time. It was the Vox Machina campaign. So that's kind of an introduction to who Orion Acaba was. So let's get back into it, and let's see what Scott has to say.
Just a real terrible person, Scott. You couldn't possibly put him at the table with these pure critical role angels. Oh, did you say angels? You said that Orion Acaba cannot return to critical role because Matthew Mercer and Mercer Ray and Travis Willingham and Laura Bailey and Ashley Johnson and Sam Riegel, excuse me, and Liam O'Brien and Taliesin Jaffe. You cannot. Those guys are just the purest driven snow angels. You possibly could. Oh, are they? Are there? You can't put Orion
Here it comes. Get ready for it.
Acaba back there because he's toxic and they're all just precious. Oh, put them right in the convent. They're all the best.
So this is a theme that Scott paints during this particular video, but again, he uses very similar phrasing in all of his videos. He will say things like pure as the driven snow, they're angels. He uses the word angels, pure as the driven snow, and convent a lot. He must have some fascination with angels and convents. I don't know, but this is a theme that will come in, so pay attention to the number of times that the words convent, pure as the driven snow, and angels happen.
Best people. They're utter shits.
That's our first utterance of that word. And he's going to tell us why he's using. So there's a reason he's using this word, and he's going to tell us why he's using that word, because it is very important that he uses that particular word, and he's going to tell us why. So let's continue.
They're utter shits. Every single one of them to the last. They are shits. Utter shits. Let's get into this, all right?
Let's get into it, Scott.
Let's have real talk. Wait a second, Scott Garibay. You're an evangelical Christian. You can't say that Matthew Mercer is a shit. You can't say that his wife, Marisha Ray, is a shit. You can't say that Travis Willingham is a shit. You can't say that his lovely wife, Laura Bailey, is a shit. You cannot possibly say that Ashley Johnson is a shit.
I think you can possibly say that. Now, he keeps saying that word, and there's a reason why, so keep watching.
You cannot possibly say, Scott, you're an evangelical Christian. You can't say that Sam Riegel's a shit, right?
Here is the theme.
You cannot possibly say that Taliesin Jaffe is a shit. You can't say that Liam O'Brien is a shit. You can't say that, Scott. You can't swear. You're exactly right. I can't swear.
Did you hear that? At about 231, there was a bump. I think that was the first thing that got run over. I'm not sure where he's driving, but he is hitting speed bumps or something somewhere.
I'm not allowed to swear. I can't say those people are shits. They said it. They said it on day one.
Here we go. This is the theme and why he's using that word. Because Critical Role told us on day one that's who they were, and he's going to tell us exactly what that means.
From the beginning. Let's get into it.
Absolutely.
Right? So first of all, I appreciate the conversation we're having very much. And one of the things,
Scott, I have to say, I appreciate the conversation too.
Things that critters are saying is that you got to go back and watch from the beginning. You got to DYOR.
DYOR. If you do not know what DYOR means, it means do your own research. So we got to use these. These are important terms. You got to DYOR. Do your own research. And what is the great philosopher of the TTRPG world going to tell us?
You got to look at the beginning. You got to look at the home games. You got to see it from the start, which I have been doing. And you know what I found? They're all shits. They're all shits. Every single one of them to a last. And that's not me telling you that. That's them, right? Do you know what they named their group at the beginning?
Here it is. Here it comes.
To tell you and me exactly who they are? Super hyper intense team.
Super hyper intense team. That was what they first called themselves at the beginning of Critical Role. Super hyper intense team. SH intense team. That's what it is. They're telling us, and that's the theme that Scott is running with. Genius analysis. Genius analysis at work. Here it is.
They named their play group Shit!
This is why J Scott Garibay is the Plato, the Aristotle of our time right here.
Shit! They're all shits. Literally.
And when he says that, he means super hyper intense team. That's really what he means.
Literally. They're shits. They said it from the start, right? This is my channel, right? I tell you what's going to happen.
He is the Nostradamus of our time. Plato, Aristotle, Nostradamus, all rolled into one.
I give you the real conversation. I take the conversation where others don't. That's why I have hundreds of people here involved in this conversation.
Hundreds of people. Remember, Scott's got over 3,000 subscribers. He has hundreds of people involved in this conversation. And we're involved in this conversation too now. We have been drawn in, we've been sucked in to this conversation about the super hyper intense team that is Critical Role.
And that's why people come back, even when they say they won't. I got people coming in the comments saying, I don't like what you say. I'm sick and tired of it. Bye.
We don't say that here. We don't say that. We appreciate the philosophy that Scott. It's like Dr. Dre. Creep into the mic like a phantom. Scott Garibay tells it like it is.
A week later, a day later, a month later, right back in the comment.
Right back. I've seen him right back into the conversation every time.
It's because they're not getting this anywhere else, right? These conversations are not happening anywhere else. I cover politics, right?
Oh, this is a big one. This is one of these other. This is like the next leap in the philosophy. These connections that are being made are deep and profound. You need to listen to this.
I said 3 months before the election. On record, you can find it right here.
All right, here it comes. It's coming.
I cover politics, right?
He
said
does.
3 months before the election.
That is true.
On record, you can find it right here. Donald Trump is going to win, right? And you know what I told people about Donald Trump? He's a...
Now, there's a deep connection that's going to be made between this and his political predictions and Critical Role. And it's profound. It's absolutely profound.
Liar. He's a liar. The lyingest liar that ever lied.
The lyingest liar that ever lied. Those are deep words.
You know how I know Donald Trump is a vicious, useless liar? You know how I know that? Right?
Scott, tell us this and bring it around and make this connection to Critical Role.
The reason I know that is he wrote a book called The Art of the Deal.
And the Critical Role people use books. There's a connection. I see where he's going. It's going.
He told everybody exactly who he was years before it arrived. Years before it arrived. Years before it arrived. Years. Right? Years before we arrived there. Right? And the thing is, they told everybody, we are Hollywood shits.
Oh, see, there's the connection right there. There's the connection. Donald Trump said who he was years before he was coming into the scene. And the Critical Role people told us that they were the super hyper intense team years before they were on the scene. And that's the connection. There was a prediction that happened. years before, and now it's here, and Scott's making those dots connect, and only he can make those dots connect.
Super, hyper intense team.
Nope, he said it again. Super hyper intense team.
We're shits. They're all shits. Every single one of them. And my issue is the audio.
Oh, I think he's got to look over so he doesn't get hit. Cut. Keep it focused, Scott. Keep it focused.
Audacity of them, of these shits, to say that Orion can't sit at the table.
Oh, he was turning.
It's every single one of them is Hollywood to the core.
Hollywood to the core. That's right.
Right? Every single thing he's accused of, they've done it. Every one of them.
He's going to say angels here pretty soon.
There are no angels here.
There you go.
None of these people getting into the convent.
Yeah, and there it is, the convent. Angels going into the convent. Philosophy from J Scott Garibay.
Right? None of them. Every single one of them is an unmitigated shit.
Super hyper intense team.
They told you from the gate, we are all shits, and they are.
They did tell us that. They did call their team the super hyper intense team. They told us right from the beginning that they were that word.
They are all shits. And this is my issue. I don't have any problem with them being shits, right? I don't have, and by the way, Christian, can't say a swear word. Just saying, super hyper intense team, shits. They told you who they are. They're shits. They're shits. To the last.
To the last. The absolute last.
And the problem is the hypocrisy, okay? I actually like that they're shits. That's why Critical Role works. Because they're all monster humans.
Monster humans. And where do they come from, Scott? Where do they come from?
Straight out of the pit of Hollywood.
Pit of Hollywood.
Every bad checklist item. We know what happens on the backlots. We know what happens at the hotels afterwards. And it's every one of them. The idea that Orion Acaba is the villain. Orion Acaba is toxic.
He's a villain amongst villains.
Orion Acaba does these terrible Hollywood things. The rest of them are perfect. They're shits to the last.
By the way, if you look up here, see it says super hyper intensity team. There it is right there.
Shits to the last. They told you from the gate, right? And my issue is these shits saying you can't return to the table. Your behavior is toxic.
Yep, they kicked him out. They kicked him out, and he needs to come back. We need to all start that campaign to bring Orion Acaba back.
Every one of them are Hollywood shits.
Monsters from the pit of Hollywood.
Every one of them, right? And I'm here for it. I know I'm an evangelical.
Those are not my words. That's Scott words. But again, Socrates, Plato, Nostradamus of our time. Look at that. Look at that right there. Absolutely the philosopher of the TTRPG world of today.
Christian, right? You want to go watch an evangelical Christian live action play? I certainly don't, right? It's going to be boring as all get out because there ain't nobody there.
But what do we want, Scott?
Where do we get the best entertainment?
Yeah.
Let's name it off. Jonathan Major.
Don't I even know who that is. I've never even heard of that guy. Okay, well, apparently he's famous. But, okay, I think he was in a movie or two. Something like that.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Okay, yep. I don't think he's been in a movie for a while. But, okay, Johnny Depp and...
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Okay, know who that is. Iron Man. Got it. Okay, Iron Man is who we should be getting our entertainment from.
Hollywood shits to the last.
Oh, they're monsters from the pit of Hollywood. Okay, that, according to Scott, not me. Nope, not me, but that's according to Scott.
Right? These people are in it. They are in it.
In it to win it.
And my issue is, yes, mischief and worse with Orion Acaba. But if you think, right? That it ended there. And the rest of these people are just the purest of driven snow angels.
Oh, there it is. Pure as the driven snow angels. Where's the convent? It's coming.
I need you to just look at the beginning. They're shits to the last. Shits to the last. And the problem is the hypocrisy.
Oh, no convent.
The problem is this idea that, Orion Acaba, oh my goodness.
Oh, here comes the stars and garters for the first time. Keep listening.
Look at the behavior there, the toxic behavior. Oh my goodness. Oh, my stars and garters, I couldn't possibly.
My stars and garters. Now, who said, oh, my stars and garters? Where did that become famous? That was Hank McCoy, Dr. Hank McCoy, the Beast from the X-Men. From the very beginning, that was something that Stan Lee wrote into the comics. Oh, my stars and garters.
Please.
And there's something else that Scott has in common with that. Hank McCoy, biochemist, PhD philosopher, doctor in philosophy, brilliant mind, and same here.
Shits to the last. Every single one of them checks off the Hollywood.
Check that box. Pit of Hollywood monster.
Check box every week, right? And the difference is the rest of them, the other 8 are like, oh, I'm pure as a driven snow angel.
Pure as a driven snow angel. Here it is.
I belong at the table, even though, as I've repeated, every single thing Orion Acaba has done, they're all shits. They're all shits.
Super hyper intensity team.
Literally, it's the name they gave themselves. They were like, hey, we don't want anybody to get confused. We're Hollywood shits. Here's the name. On day 1, right? The issue is the hypocrisy, right? Critical Role has to choose a lane. They have to choose a lane.
They got to choose a lane. They have to choose. Somehow they've got to choose that lane somewhere.
Right? They can say, yeah, we're all Hollywood shits, right? Yes.
They told us that. Scott, you're 100% right. They told us from the beginning.
Oh, and guess what? They were calling themselves shits when they were way back there. Way back there.
How far is that? Way back there.
Back when maybe some of the rays of friendship were real, right?
I think that's when they were all sitting in Matt Mercer's apartment playing Pathfinder. I think that's way back. That's like, gosh, 10, 11 years now.
These guys are millionaires now. They have global corporations.
Global corporations. Not a global corporation. Not a corporation, but global corporations. Multiple corporations. Like Hasbro level corporations.
They've fired people, right?
Yes. That puts them in the super hyper intensity team mode, firing people.
These guys are deep in it now, right?
Monsters from the pit of Hollywood.
You think they're less shits now that they're rich? This is my issue, right? Oh, yes. Orion Acaba was a very broken, problematic person, right? I'm a very broken, problematic person, right? But the reality is, let's stop pretending. This is where the best narratives come.
He's right. Absolutely. The best narratives come from pain and suffering. Only through suffering do we become stronger.
Right? Val Kilmer just died. You think that guy was a...
Here's another profound connection that he's going to make pop culture and the TTRPG world. Here it comes. Val Kilmer.
Pure as the driven snow.
Pure as the driven snow.
Into a convent.
There it is. Pure as the driven snow, going to a convent. Not sure if he's an angel or not, though.
That dude had problems, and it showed up in his work. And my issue is not that there is problematic behavior on the part of Orion Acaba. My issue is the pretending.
That he really wants to say hypocrisy. We've got to talk about that because they are the super hyper intensity team, and they're being hypocritical with not bringing him back. They have to bring Orion Acaba back.
Oh, no. I'm Matthew Mercer. My stars and garters.
Oh, Matthew Mercer now has stars and garters. Again, more stars and garters.
Could not possibly have Orion Acaba back at the table. Why, he's cheated on dice rolls, and I am a pure as a driven snow, perfect angel.
Oh, yep, pure as driven snow angel. Is he going to the convent? That's what I want to know.
I could not possibly return to the table.
I guess
with
there's
him.
not going to be a
And
convent.
Critters holding up this utter crap. They're shits to the last. That's not me saying it. They told you that.
That's right. They told us. Scott Garibay didn't say it. They told us.
They're shits. They said it from day one. Every single one of them is a shit, right? Including Orion Acaba. And he should take...
He was a part of the original super hyper intensity team. So yes, Scott, you're right. Absolutely. Great connection.
His shit. He should be the shit that sits in the seat on episode 1 of season 4. With the rest of the shits. They're all the same. And ain't not one of them is more deserving to sit there than Orion Acaba. And I'm sick of pretending that they are. Shits to the last, right? The only difference is Orion Acaba is not a hypocrite like the rest of them.
That's right. He's not a hypocrite. He needs to be there.
He is not back.
Uh-oh. Here we come. Here comes the threat. The threat, and there's some chainsaws that are coming in this.
Episode 1, season 4, Critical Role. The whole conversation on Critical Role starts anew.
Scott's going to change that conversation for everybody watching Critical Role. He is the critter leader that is going to change the conversation.
Fresh. It is we get what we need and what we want on episode 1 of season 4. Or I'm telling you right now, we start an entirely new conversation.
And we are all going to be peeled to your channel to know what that new conversation is going to be.
On the Critical Role. And we decide if we need to rescind all of the goodwill that the D&D community is currently...
Okay, rescind goodwill. Got it.
...giving them, or completely sever them from the...
Sever them from the community. Okay, rescind goodwill, new conversation. Got it.
And that's going to take chainsaws, right?
There it is, chainsaws.
Like, sever their intellectual property and Critical Role Exandria from Dungeons and Dragons. That is not going to be easy.
And Scott's the guy to do it. He's going to do it. We've got to have Orion Acaba back, or there is going to be some chainsaws, new conversations, and severing happen.
I want to do that. Orion Acaba has to be back. Has to be back.
Must be back.
Episode 1, season 4. This has
absolutely
to happen. There is no path forward without it.
No path forward without him. No, you're right.
Every single word, including shit, you just heard is my humble.
Remember, super hyper intensity team. Scott Garibay, philosopher of our time. Socrates, Plato, Nostradamus, right here.
Opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when I get in the comments and send your traffic, and when you get in the comments.
Remember to go to Scott's channel, give him a like, put comments in, watch his videos, very important, engage.
And send your traffic. Please continue liking and subscribing, and
like and subscribe too. That's a great thing.
A fetch millennium.
And apparently have a fetch millennium. All right. That is what we got for you today. I hope everybody enjoyed, and we will be back for